And greetings everybody, and welcome to another JeSter Reviews. And before we get stuck into the Temporal Heavy Dreadnought Cruiser, I'd like to welcome all my new subscribers who've just taken me past 160 subscribers. So welcome everyone, and if you're viewing and you haven't subscribed, please hit that subscribe button to catch any future content. So without further ado, let's have a look at the Temporal Heavy Dreadnought Cruiser. And to coin a phrase from one of my favourite Clint Eastwood films, that's a big one. And she is. This ship actually featured in one of the Star Trek Captain Archer episodes. When he was taken into the future by Daniels. He was taken to the 26th century, where this Enterprise was actually battling the Sphere Builders. I think Star Trek Online actually does a Procyon 5 story arc, which mirrors what was actually going on in the 26th century. Now, yes, this ship is quite big, and it's a Universe class ship. And as you can see, it's nearly as big as the space station. And it is designed to travel between galaxies, as you would in the 26th century. I mean, looking at the front of it, it reminds me of one of those whale sharks, you know, the ones that eat plankton. Yeah, it has got a bit of a whale shark look to it, doesn't it, at the front? Yeah. But it is huge. It's all I can do to actually fit it into the screen. If we zoom it out, it's a little better. But compared to this ship here, I mean, she's quite big, isn't she? Dear me, I think that's a Guardian cruiser, that one. Right, so I do like this ship, to be honest with you. I've been flying her now for a couple of days. A turn rate is yes, a lot to be desired, and it needs any help it can get on the old turn rate. But apart from that, I quite like her. I think I'll be using her for some time to come. She'll be a welcome addition to my fleet. Right, now everybody's thoroughly dizzy of going around and around and around. Let's visit the bridge and have a look. And here we are on the bridge, and if it looks familiar, you're not wrong. It's very familiar. In fact, it's exactly the same, apart from a few subtle differences. It's exactly the same as the Dugath Bridge. Yes, I'm quite surprised at that. I was expecting that had a little bit more of a Federation design touch to it. Now, when I originally reviewed the Dugath, my take on the bridge was this looked quite like a Klingon bridge should look like. Because I've always said I think Klingon bridges should be robust and look the part, and indeed this did look the part for a Klingon bridge of the 26th century. But I'm slightly disappointed because the Federation, I would expect to have all manner of wonderful gadgets and things for the 26th century. Even some of the time ships which I've got have a better bridge than this. So I'm very disappointed. But anyhow, moving on. Oh, look who's here. crewman. Just keep an eye on him, will you? Mr. Potato, just keep an eye on him, will you? Troublemaker, that fellow. Oh, hello, Mr. Romulan person. And how the devil are you? When I say devil, I didn't mean anything by devil as in ears or anything like that. No, nothing like that. Anyway, thank you. Hello, Mr. Hello, crewman. And how are you today? We've not had any mishaps, I take it. I'm not going to be touching any controls. Just be careful, will you? Because this is a time ship, and we don't want to end up in Roman times, do we? I mean, it'd be very hard to explain your presence there. Yes. Anyway, carry on. Right. So let's have a look. See what we've got here. So, oops, it is. So we've got access to library files, bank accounts, duty officers, all from that one console. Oh, that's quite cool, isn't it? So we've got a dinosaur. We've got who brought the dinosaur? Oh, security! Can you? Oh my God, it's coming after me. What's he doing? Security, beam the dinosaur out, please. Beam it out. Who brought a dinosaur onto the bridge? Beam it out. Goodness for that. Were you responsible for that? Did you bring the dinosaur on? Have you taken us back to dinosaur times? Oh my word. I hope we haven't gone back to dinosaur. Please, can you check the date, please? Can you check the date? Oh my word. Right, you just can't get the stuff, can you? So, we've had a look at the inside. Let's see what she can actually do when we take her into battle. See you in a bit. Right, well, just before we actually take her into battle, I thought we'd better have a look at the build. So here we go. Let's have a quick look at the build. So what we have here is 4 weapons to the front and 4 weapons to the rear build. So at the front, I've got a pulse phaser beam array, a quantum phase beam array, which is part of a 3-piece set, quantum phase torpedo, part of the same set, and a Terran Task Force phaser beam array. Now that is part of a set, but I'm only running that on its own. I'm running the deflector, impulse, and warp core and shields. What's happening here with the shields? Let's get that correct before we go any further. We don't want to make a mess of that. Right, so I'm running the Discovery 4-piece set, deflector, impulse, warp, and warp core and shields. In the rear weapons, I'm running a Dyson proton weapon, and that's part of a 2-piece set with this little doohickey here, the Universal Proton Particle Stabilizer. And let's get some details on that for the 2-piece set. I'm getting a 28.5% proton projectile weapon damage and a 3% critical chance. Enables usage of beam fire at will. Each with the experimental proton weapon. If I'd have got the 3-piece, that'd have been interesting, wouldn't it? 10% critical spread. Yeah, that's something to think about. Anyway, we're here now, so I'm also running the kinetic cutting beam, and that's also part of a 2-piece set, and it's part of this one here. So the 2-piece set for this is giving me 2.5% chance when firing energy weapons to gain Omega weapon amplifier for 5 seconds, plus 10 weapon power, plus 500 weapon power drain resistance, minus 500% weapon power cost. The console giveth, and the console taketh away. Okay, moving on to the advanced inhibiting phaser, omnidirectional beam. That's also part of a set, so I've got 2 pieces of that set on here. Let's have a look at that. Advanced Inhibiting Energy Weapon Console, Universal Ordnance Accelerator, plus 10% Chronoton weapon damage, plus 10% phaser weapon damage, and 10% flight turn rate. So with no polar weapons, so we don't need that, we're not bothered about that one. But that one is an interesting doohickey. And finally, the omnidirectional pulse phaser beam, which I quite like this actually. It's quite a good phaser. This one, we've got the 3-piece set, the quantum phase torpedo. In this one, the 3-piece set, we get a quantum destabilizing beam. Not very good, that, to be honest with you. But it's, when you get the 3-piece set, it's free, so anything for nothing, as far as I'm concerned, is good. 135 targeting arc, 10km range, 2-minute recharge, 1392.6 phaser damage per second for 10 seconds to foe, minus 2.7 all power subsystems per sec for 10 seconds to self, 2.7 all power subsystems per second for 10 seconds. Skills that affect this ability starship. Okay, right. Fair enough. Devices, Admatic capacitor, beacon of careless, and a weapons battery. Engineering consoles, we're having the Universal Energy Distributor Accelerator, which is the ship's console that comes with the ship, and that's given us a plus 21.4 directed energy damage and a plus 20% flight turn rate, and we need that, I can assure you. Universal Dynamic Power Redistributor Module, which is standard now in all of my builds. Plus 11.3 all damage resistance rating, plus 19% directed energy damage. The Plasmonic Leech, good old fashioned Trillium deplating, which ironically, if you play the story arc to get Trillium deplating, you actually help the Enterprise out. I think it's Procyon, is that what it's pronounced? Procyon 5. We've spoken about the Universal Assimilated Module. The Bio-Neural Infusion Circuit's another part of my build now, and that's given me a 26.2 critical severity, 29.5 Starship Control expertise, and we will need that as well, 29.5 Starship hull capacity, and we'll probably need that as well because this will have a massive target. 0-point energy conduit, 2.5 critical chance. We get 2.5 power to all subsystems, 25.9 Starship drain expertise, improves energy and shield drains resistance to same. The Universal Proton Particle Stabilizer, plus 3 weapon power settings, plus 3 engine power settings, 22.8 Starship Electroplasma system flow, improves power transfer rate, plus 17.2 proton weapon damage. The Tachyokinetic Converter, 26.5 Starship Control expertise, and yes, we will need that as well. Improves control effects resistance to same, 39.4 flight turn rate, that's definitely needed, and 1.3 critical chance and a 13.1 critical severity, and that's welcome too. The Universal Ordnance Accelerator, which is part of a 2-piece set. It's interesting. I didn't realise I've got the 2-piece set on that. Anyway, I must have it. What's that giving us then for a 2-piece set? Ah, yes, of course, 10% phaser weapon. Yes, sorry, yes, we have done that before. Yeah, we've covered that, and we've covered that. In the hangar, I'm running the Jesters frigates. Now, these are the rare. There are some advanced, which I can pick up in the lithium store, which I haven't got enough dilithium as yet to pick them up, but yes, they are there. And I suppose I could go to my fleet base and pick up some better ones, but I don't think my fleet has hit the sufficient fleet tier yet for me to pick them up. So it's going to be a bit of a long time, but never mind. There they are. The masteries, tier 1, 25% physical damage resistance rating. Oh, sorry, plus 25 kinetic damage resistance rating. Tier 2, 36.4 recharge time, reduction to launching carrier pets crafts, plus 50% rank up XP for all hanger pets. Tier 3, armored hull, plus 10% hull hit points. Tier 4, rapid repairs, regenerates 1913.1 hull, 1.25% of your current max every 3 seconds in space. Twice this amount is generated out of combat. And repair mode, this is tier 5, this is the trait. After taking large amounts of damage, gain 1 repair mode counter for 120 seconds. May occur every 3 seconds. On third repair mode counter, enter repair mode. Self 10,000 hit points every 5 seconds. 5 seconds. Self plus 500 bonus all damage resistance rating for 5 seconds. To self again 50,000 temporary hit points for 5 seconds. Self disable for 5 seconds. Self remove all repair mode. Oops, missed that. Remove all repair mode counters, locks out ability to generate repair mode counters for 90 seconds. So there we have it. So finally, with that out of the way, now we can go into battle and see what she can do. So yes, I will see you in a minute. So here we are, we're going to do a little bit of a Jipori run. And let's see how she performs. Let's launch our fighters. We've launched our fighters. Let's get her into battle and see what she's made of. Oh, some big numbers there, weren't there? Wowzers. See what I mean on the turn rate? The turn rate's quite shocking, really. Oh, 21,000. Wow. We are rocking some big numbers there. Oh, another 11,000. That was quite cool as well. Let's have a go with the console. What did that do? Energy distributor accelerator. Right. I want to have a go. I'm dying to have a go with this lance. Yes, I think I've got a lot of work to do on this turn. On the old turn rate here. This is... Wow. Let's spy the lance. Wow, that was quite cool. Yeah, so we went through that like a knife through butter, didn't we? Let's just see if we can get round. We seem to be... I think this is the gravimetric lance, although that did quite a big hit there. Keep launching the fighters. Wow, that was That was over rather quickly, wasn't it? Well, I think the Temporal Heavy Dreadnought will be a welcome addition to my fleet, to be honest with you. Apart from this turn rate, which I'm going to have to get to grips with at some point. I'm going to have a look at that, see if I can improve this turn rate, because it is rather like turning a bus, isn't it? But yeah. And she's a huge ship, isn't she? She's massive. And I must admit, many years ago, when I actually started playing Star Trek Online, and I had my very first free ship, I came across a Herald Vonth. Is it Vonth? Vonth? Dreadnought. Huge ship that was. And I was massively impressed. I did try and say hello to him, of course, but he never spoke back to me. And since then I thought, yes, I would like to have a rather large ship like that. That would be a really nice thing to have. And yes, here we are some years after I've actually picked one up. Yeah, the pets are quite nice, the fighters. Can't even zoom in that close to them, to be honest with you, because the ship's that big itself. But anyhow, I hope you've enjoyed this review. It's been fun. I've enjoyed it. And yes, this ship will be featuring in my fleet now for some time. And I think I'll be having some great fun with her in the future. So, until next time, this is JeSter signing off.